Well, hi everybody, this is Louis Amastor of HS Game Time Live, and we are here to talk about our weekly Pick'em contest. Believe it or not, we're into week 9, and we've got some news from the contest. Last week, Kevin Escobar was our winner. He was 21-4. He beat Robert Ruiz, who also was 21-4, but they had a 4-point difference when it came to picking the game last week between Centennial and Norco. Kevin picked the 48-24 Centennial, while Robert picked 52-24, and of course the score wasn't even really that close when we looked at it again. Let me introduce my two guests here today. First off, we have EPJ, and then we have the always talkative John, the prep dog Murphy, who was celebrating the high life last night, weren't you, John?
Yeah, I was. I was at home watching the game in a darkened room, and Brian Wilson struck out that final guy, whoever he was, and you know, I had nobody to high five or belly bump or anything, so I ran outside my door, my Redlands home, and I said, "Giants win it all, yeehaw!" And you know, I live kind of on the wrong side of the tracks in Redlands, and I think anybody who actually cares about baseball in my neighborhood is a Dodger fan, and they're all kind of like, "What's with the gringo?" But I was happy, and this has nothing to do at all with prep football, but I thought I'd share.
There you go. Well, more insightful commentary from the prep dog as usual. All right, let's look at our first game, and next week we'll also have some more insights from prep dog on Friday night when he takes his latest journey to IHOP or Starbucks, where he'll file his story after being locked into a gated facility for several hours. All right, here we go. Eisenhower and Fontana playing for the right to not have a losing or a winless season. Both teams have not had a win at this point in the season, and the fans are saying Eisenhower 86%, Fontana 13%. I guess I'm leaning towards Fontana in this game right now. But let's go to EPJ first. Agree, disagree?
You know, I'll agree with the fans on this one. You know, I just kind of looking at scores throughout the year. Both of them have kind of been losing big time in the games, but Eisenhower's been able to keep the scores a little bit closer. So going based on that matchup, I'll take Eisenhower in this one.
All right, prep dog.
I think that Fontana's got a decent running game, and I think they're going to conjure up the memories of Bruick and Colbrun and all of the others, and pull out a victory here.
Interesting. All right, so we have a split decision there. That's kind of sort of where the fans are going. All right, let's go to our next game. All right, this one's a monstrous one, actually, and it's not surprising that I think Kaiser has this sort of differential at this point. But Summit playing at Kaiser for a possible Sunkist League championship. The fans are picking right now. Kaiser 76%. Agree, disagree? Let's go to the prep dog first.
Yeah, I like Kaiser in this game. You know, speaking of the faux high of old, you know, they had that Bruick imprint all over the program, of course, when Dick was coaching. Now Phil Zelaya, he came over from Fontana and has really solidified that coaching staff after Bruick left. And I mean, they've shut 5 opponents out and they've given up like 28 points. How can you pick against them?
Okay, all right. What do you think, EPJ?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You know, Summit is that team with a lot of talent once you go out for Devon Blackman. But Kaiser's defense right now just too tough to score upon. You know, when we consider 8 points last week to Norte Vista kind of being a letdown because they didn't get the shutout, it says a lot to what Kaiser's doing. So yeah, Kaiser holds on and would be their, I believe, 10th straight league title.
It's interesting, you know, we were talking to a fan last week, and you know, if Summit comes to play, they can be very, very dangerous, and they've kind of had shown some periods of being lax this season. So we'll see what happens with this one. All right, moving on to the Mountain Valley League. Notre Dame got stung by Rubidoux last week. Remember, the Burrell's been stung by Rubidoux already. So potentially this is a key game for playoff positioning as we move forward. Notre Dame playing at Rim of the World, and the fans liking Rim of the World after their big win at Banning last week. 66% picking Rim of the World. I expect this to get a little bit tighter as the week goes on. EPJ, agree, disagree with this one?
I disagree with the fans on this one. I'll take Notre Dame on this one. I think right now they have that, you know, they got the balance in the running game with Ivory and Easton running the ball and O'Connor throwing the ball. So, you know, I'll take them right now. I think Rim is starting to get some good things together, getting healthier, but, you know, I think Notre Dame, you know, pulls this one out.
Okay, all right, Prep Dog.
I'm going to agree with the fans because, you know, I need the positive vibes from them, but also because Dylan Pretzinger is healthy again. He ran for 244 yards last week, and I think he'll continue that this week. He might not run for that many, but I think he'll ramble.
All right, let's see what we have next in our next game. That's West Valley at Citrus Hill, and obviously West Valley coming off a big, big win last week against San Jacinto. And but the fans still think Citrus Hill has a glimmer of hope in this one. 77% saying West Valley, 22% picking Citrus Hill. Let's go to the prep dog. Do you agree, disagree with this pick?
I think that the West Valley is going to play well after their win over San Jacinto, and I think they're going to take Citrus Hill down.
All right, let's go over to EPJ.
Yeah, I've kind of been going back and forth on this one. I think it's a very dangerous game for West Valley right now. Big emotional win over San Jacinto, but Citrus Hill is the 3-time defending champions of this league. Davian Payne last week ran for 6 touchdowns. You know, it's going to be a close one, but I think West Valley has finally figured everything out on offense and should be able to squeak this one out, but would not be surprised to see if Citrus Hill could muster up that magic and win it.
All right, let's see our next game here. This is our last close one. This is the tiebreaker game as well. And I don't know how it actually breaks down as far as percentage goes, but the score is why we have it up here, and it's very, very close right now. The fans are saying Heritage 27, Elsinore 23 right now. That's the consensus among the fans. That's how the fans are averaging it out right now, and I think that's probably pretty accurate here. This is probably, other than the Kaiser Summit game, one of the most compelling games of the season for the I should say Sun Belt League Championship on there, but agree, disagree, EPJ with that.
You know, I'm going to disagree on this one, even though that might make Heritage fans happy. I have tended to pick against them, and they continue to prove me wrong.
Right.
But, you know, I'm one of those ones who, until someone beats someone and knocks them off the perch, you know, I'm going to go with that team. I like what Elsinore can do in its running game and a little bit more on the physical side. It'll be 2 teams looking to establish the run. I just like Elsinore's size and strength that they might have out there. It will be a close one, but I'm going to stick with the traditional power and go with Elsinore.
All right, prep dog.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Elsinore. I was impressed when I saw them, and I think they'll pull it out.
Elsinore has a way of ruining people's seasons when they're having an undefeated season. I remember what they did to Hemet a few years ago when Hemet was at 9. It was 8-0 going into week 9, and for a Sun Belt League championship at the time as well. So I do remember that quite well. All right, so here's our look at the games where there's 100% picks in the favor of these, and we'll go through these pretty quickly. So Centennial, Santiago, Chaparral, Temecula Valley, La Sierra, Rancho Verde, Colton, San Jacinto, Temescal Canyon, Ribbit over Citrus Valley, Redlands over Miller, and Rev over Yucaipa. All these were the fans who made 100% picks. I think this is our most we've had so far in the contest. Of course, it's still pretty early, so we'll see some changes here. We won't see all these games remain 100%. But anyone one of those list guys that you disagree with at this point?
You know, I think, you know, the Colton San G game could be a little bit closer. I mean, it's going to be a battle for second place. I think San G, 4-game winning streak, has got some momentum. They're going to be at home. Colton looks like last week, even though it was against Pacific, the offense really rolling. So that's going to be one I think will be a little bit closer than a lot of people think.
Right. How about you, Prep Dog?
You know, Yucaipa, Rev, Tyler Swinford is coming back for them in week 10. If he was coming back this week, maybe Yucaipa would give Rev a go. Rev has been playing a lot of low-scoring games, at least against good teams. And but without Swinford, it's going to be a tough one for Yucaipa.
What about Miller at Redlands? Does Miller have something to do there? Can they knock out Redlands?
I think that they could. I don't expect them to, but they certainly, you know, with Schuford at quarterback, he's a pretty multi-talented guy. Redlands is another team that doesn't score massive amounts of points. I think they'll be in the game.
All right, let's go to our 90% games now, Dave. All right, it's not as many, but a few interesting ones here. Beaumont over Tahquitz, Carter at Cajon, Valley View at Ramona, Arlington at Vista del Lago, Vista Murrieta at Murrieta Valley, and King at Roosevelt. And I think the most compelling game on that list there is Vista Murrieta at Murrieta Valley in the Southwestern League, possibly for a Southwestern League championship. But the fans are 95% of the fans, when I looked at it last, were saying Vista Murrieta in this game. Agree, disagree with that one, you guys, or is there a game in there that surprises you?
You know, I kind of agree that Vista Murrieta is the favorite in that game, but Murrieta could definitely, you know, give them a run for the money. The one that could be really interesting is going to be the King Roosevelt one. King had that chance to really move up the ladder in the charts, but losing to Poly last week, how do they bounce back from that? And I think Roosevelt's been up and down with their play. So if King's motivated and comes in there, catches Roosevelt looking ahead to Centennial next week, they could pull that game out.
All right, Prep Dog.
I see Carter Cajon is like possibly a trap game for Cajon. Carter's 5-2-1, and they haven't lost a game by, you know, more than 7 points. They played well against Colton, and I don't expect them to beat Cajon, but I think they could.
And I apologize. I actually should be Cajon the favorite on that one as well. That's my fault on that one, making that graphic. But Cajon is definitely the 90% favorite. But I think you're right there. That could be a dangerous game for Cajon.
And I think a game that'll be closer than a lot of people think could turn out to be that Arlington Vista Del Lago game. We saw Canyon Springs with their passing game put up 27 points on Arlington, and we know Vista Del Lago can throw the ball with Trent Hedlund and their core of receivers. So that game could be a little bit closer than a lot of people.
It seems like Trent Hedlund got really, really hot during a game that he could do a lot of damage to people. I mean, I think kind of similar, what happened with the USC game with. Would you stop that? Would you stop looking at me? Come on now. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, that's it for the rest of the day. We'll move on from here. Thanks, guys, for joining us. So we'll see you guys again on Friday night for HS Game Time Live. And make your picks. It's right up here in the contest, and it's free to play. And I look forward to seeing how you guys do in the contest. For HS Game Time Live, I'm Louis Amestoy.